Gentlemen. There. All right, and we are live here at the Redeemer Athletic Center for today's OCAA men's basketball matchup between Redeemer hosting the Mohawk Mountaineers. It's the home opener. My name's Will Dykstra. I'm joined, as always, by Jared Meyer here up in the booth. Jared, how we doing?
We're doing great tonight. This is an exciting slate of home opener games for Redeemer tonight. Facing a really good Mohawk team from last year, but Redeemer bringing in some new recruits and bringing back a lot of players as well. So this will be a good matchup tonight to open the season.
It's the third matchup between Coach Jamie Girolametto making his return to Redeemer, where he tenured about 9 seasons with this team. Also the third season for Coach Stephen Hopkins in his tenure here at Redeemer. This team, another learning opportunity for these Royals to come up against this more powerhouse Mohawk squad. Coach Hopkins bringing in a good set of veterans as well as a fresh new set of recruits onto this team. Meanwhile, for Mohawk, we got a lot of experience, transfers in, some old players making reappearances for the team. We'll get to some of those specifics in a moment. But first of all, Jared, Redeemer's missed the playoffs the last 2 seasons. Last year, unfortunate 3-15 finish to the season. Meanwhile, for Mohawk, 11-7. Which of the teams are you expecting to maybe see a little bit more of an improvement on their results from last year?
Which other teams from last season?
Yeah, so Redeemer and Mohawk, obviously, a lot of room for growth for Redeemer, but Mohawk as well. 11-7, maybe not exactly where they want to be.
Yeah. I think, Redeemer especially, the home crowd here, we really want to see something from our Royals. They had a good slate of years in years past, kind of ending in those past couple seasons when they made the playoffs, and we're hoping this year's roster changes can bring about some better results. This team has always been really close. We know there's a tight-knit group and a good identity, and we're hoping that can translate to some good offense, some good defense, and a better finish for the Royals. Definitely, they think they know they're better than 3-15 last season, so we're hoping to see more out of them, but this will be a good game.
Redeemer's preseason ended last week Saturday here at home against upstate New York from Niagara. They also had preseason games on the road at George Brown and at Fleming. For Coach Girolametto and the Mountaineers, they had a bit of a busier preseason schedule, including a trip out east to Quebec. They lost, of course, to some good youth sports squads, Windsor, and including 2 losses to McMaster. And another notable loss was to John De Bruin from Quebec, a team that finished 3rd in the CCAA National Championships last year. About 1 minute to go before tip-off here. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for Mohawk. They're going to start the third-year guard Iverson Chong, joined by a veteran transfer from Queen's University, Scott Jenkins. He's going to be a big player for Redeemer to focus on today. Elton Adam and Kazim Raza make up the front court, while last year's second-team West Division All-Star Marco Dosen takes at center. And for Redeemer, it's going to be second-year guard from Beamsville, Cole Arnold, joined in the backcourt by one of Redeemer's, more tenured players, Parker Davis, making a return to the squad for his 4th season. Jackson Thackeray and Gabriel Della Foresta make up a bit of a 4-man backcourt for Redeemer, while Benjamin Dick takes the 5 for Redeemer. And we will step aside shortly. And so just about set to go here in Ancaster. The crosstown Hamilton rivalry has certainly put out some real quality matchups in the past. We had a great one here last year. Came down to the wire. Redeemer staging a bit of a late comeback in the third and fourth quarters, and despite going 0-2 against Mohawk last year, Redeemer certainly does come up and rise to the occasion for these big games. A great crowd on hand as well, and we should expect another thriller.
Absolutely. Redeemer, while they do have a little bit of a behemoth of a team that they're up against tonight, they're really persistent and they're really never out of the game. Redeemer just really needs to stick around, get gritty, and play their game, and they can definitely do some damage against this team and catch them off guard early in the season.
And on the other side, 2 seasons down for Jamie Girolamo, 0 national championship appearances, and that's one of the things that he was certainly came very close to doing at Redeemer all of his years here. And the move to Mohawk certainly brought about that expectation that we might see the Mountaineers reach that next level, and certainly shows some signs of growth throughout the season. And so I'm sure that that team with some more veteran presence is going to have a real good shot at that this year, and it all starts here at Game 1.
Absolutely, and they've already faced some really good competition in preseason, as you mentioned, going against McMaster twice, so they're definitely seasoned to start this regular season off on a good foot, and we'll see what they can do tonight here, but we'll see what the Royals can do to slow them down.
Yeah, and certainly 2 losses against McMaster. I mean, it means a lot more when you look at the scores, and both games very close, and so we should expect some good quality from Mohawk here. We're going to have Dick against Dosen taking the tip off here. Royals moving from right to left in the all-whites. Mohawk left to right in the orange. We are ready to go on a brand new season here at Redeemer, and we are underway. Mohawk controlling the tip, and they're going to give it right to Scott Jenkins, who lines things up for Mohawk. Early high screen, Chong taking the drive onto the right-hand side. He'll go up against 2 defenders. Dosen there to collect the rebound, puts it in, and Mohawk has the first points of the game. And here is Jackson Thackeray, the 4th-year guard out of Richmond. And now Davis taking it down the right-hand side. Good coverage there on the defensive side by Mohawk, and now Mohawk trying to go quick the other way. Iverson, 3 in transition from the left side. Too strong. The rebound is controlled by Arnold, and 3 on 2 the other way. Good energy here early. Mohawk looking to push the tempo. Thackeray is going to pull up for 2. That one's no good. Chong gathers the rebound, and Mohawk quickly pushing the floor. Iverson swings across to Elton, and he will drive. Left hand, and it doesn't go. Davis with the rebound. And now here's a swing pass to Cole Arnold. Good spacing here for the Royals. Those 4 guards with Dick on the inside. Here's Davis. Good swing pass inside. Jackson Thackeray blocked there by Jenkins, and he'll skip it with 8 on the shot clock. Entry pass to Dick. The fading jumper rolls and goes. And Benjamin Dick opens the scoring. Here comes Mohawk the other way, quickly. Chong reverse pass. Here's Raza. Adam looking to drive on Davis. He goes left. Good gap defense there from Arnold. This 3 from Jenkins on the left-hand side is short. And it's another rebound for Dick. Here comes Della Foresta going towards the inside. Dick receives that pass, but Iverson Chong was right there. Takes the charge. And that's a great piece of defending from Iverson Chong, a turnover. And that's the first foul of the game. What a start we've had already.
Yeah, and we saw in the first play of the game, Marco Dosen get an offensive rebound and put that one back, and we know how important of a role Ben Dick is going to have to play in this game, and he's going to have to keep himself out of foul trouble, being kind of the lone big for Redeemer, at least in this starting lineup, to keep Marco Dosen at bay. He'll have to make sure that he's locked in and keeping Dosen under wraps for this game, so we'll keep an eye on Dick's foul situation, but that's not a great one to get early on a charge.
Dosen listed at 6'8", by far and away the biggest presence that either team will have. And here's a great entry pass from Jenkins inside to Dosen. Dosen's got himself going with 4 points in this first quarter. And so 2 minutes gone. Arnold will hand it off to Della Foresta on that right-hand side. Cross-court pass, a Suomo into the game for Redeemer. The 3rd-year man out of Brampton, and he will slip. That's a turnover. Coming back the other way is Kazim Raza. Della Foresta there to challenge it. Great defending. Able to track back and force the miss. And that's a turnover. Oh, a risky cross-court pass, 2-on-1 the other way. Raza's take is once again defended well, but it's turned over again. And now Adam's going to enter. He will go up with the right hand. gets it to go, plus the foul, and I think that's going to be 2 on Benjamin Dick, unless we'll see who it's called on, but this could mean early trouble for the Royals.
And that was 2 great defensive plays by Gabe Della Foresta there, but unfortunately 2 turnovers out of those defensive plays, and it put the ball coming right back down Redeemer's throat, and now Elton Adam at the free throw line for an easy chance at 2.
And we're going to see Caden King-Stewart come in to replace Ben Dick, who's gotten himself into foul trouble early, as Adam makes it a 3-point play. Talking to Coach Hopkins earlier, he's got a lot of good things to say about King-Stewart. A bit of a late addition to this team. Had a great game in their last preseason matchup against upstate New York. And that's a great dish, a backdoor pass from about 30 feet out. Davis can't control it. Now 11 to shoot. Davis entering the lane, makes a nice spin move towards his right-hand side. The floater is good. And Davis knocks down his first field goal attempt of the game. And so good start for both teams, and can't double dribble there. It could be a turnover. Adam corrals it again. 3-point shot from the right-hand side is good. And that's Dante Richards, the 4th-year man out of Oakville. Spent some time in Fanshawe. Of course, his first season at Mohawk last year. Had a great year. And he's got himself on the board. And that's a great dish pass. Looking for King-Stewart on the inside. Great patience. Pump fakes, puts it up for 2. And Davis with the assist. And so 10-6. Both teams finding their groove on offense. We'll see if Mohawk can respond. Dosen coming up high to play it. Adam with the pump fake. Drives left. Makes a move on King-Stewart towards the inside and puts it in for 2. Great control. And we've also got Jerry Mercury Jr. coming into the game for Mohawk. Those of you might recognize that name. He played his season, a couple seasons here for Mohawk in the past. Spent last year with the Brock Badgers roster. As we've got a foul on the far side. It's going to be on Iverson Chong, I believe. It'll be his first. Mercury was a 2023 second-team All-Star here in the OCAA before making a trip up to U Sports, and now he's back on Giro Meadows' squad here.
Now we've got a 6-point lead for Mohawk early in this game, but you'd think with a couple turnovers coming from the Royals already, if you negate those, then we've got ourselves a pretty even game. But of course, turnovers count.
Absolutely.
If you commit a turnover, those matter. So Redeemer will have to keep taking care of the ball if they want to even this game, and that's another one there, which breaks to Marco Dosen. He'll have a chance, but he gets swatted at by defender there.
That's Thomas Barbosa.
Thomas Barbosa, yes.
Just checked into the game, and he'll commit the foul. You're seeing a lot of high pressure from the help side, and that dish pass to Dosen came to double team the ball handler. It's good coverage. I mean, we've seen this all the time during Coach Gerald Meadows' time at Redeemer. He likes that high pressure, aggressive help side defense, trying to cause those turnovers on the passes where the receiver might not be looking for it. And it's going to result in a couple points in transition. Dosen 2 for 2. He's got 6 in the game. Jackson Thackeray working against. That's Richards on the far side. There's a 3-point shot from Della Foresta. Is good. And that's a big shot when you look at the way the score was going. Richards trying to answer quickly. Dish pass. Controlled well. Good patience. Dosen will try his luck from deep. And he hits it. Marco Dosen feeling it early. He's got 9 in the game. Barbosa, top of the key. Help coming from Dosen. Extra pass. Jason Asuomo short. And it rolls off. Mercury pulls it down. And he'll kick it up to Dante Richards. Here is Mercury. He'll pull up from 3, and that is good. Jerry Mercury stepping into it. Hand in the face, knocks it down. Back-to-back threes for the Mountaineers. Big moment now for Redeemer. If they can respond, it's another turnover. Thackeray turns it over. Mercury with the behind-the-back pass finds Chong. Goes up for 2, and it is good. And Redeemer will call timeout. Down by 13. It's an 8-0 run for the Mountaineers. Back-to-back turnovers resulting in back-to-back transition buckets. And when you got a couple of real solid scores deep into your roster, that's going to cause problems for Redeemer.
Yeah, and it was an unfortunate swing of events, as what happened just before that was Della Foresta hit the first 3 of the game for the Royals, and that was a nice little piece of momentum, but what followed it was definitely not in the Royals' favor. It seemed like the 3-pointer was something they could build off of, but They now trail 13 points after 5 minutes of action, and they've got themselves a lead to claw back at only halfway through this first quarter.
And you are seeing the scoreboard as it is broadcasted live here inside the Athletic Center. Good crowd on hand. A lot of energy early. Redeemer able to find their groove, getting to the rim, getting into the paint, looking for some of those extra passes. But you got to be sharp on those interior entries, because the Mohawk defenders are stepping up. They're getting in those lanes really, really, really well, and it's caused some problems for Redeemer early.
Especially when they know that Redeemer's looking for those passes and they've missed a couple of them. It just gives them all the license to keep going and keep pressuring those passes and to just get more and more transition opportunities, which is what they've continued to do. Yeah. Especially in this first quarter, they want to come out firing and get themselves a big lead to build on and build something that Redeemer can't come back against. And the lead is 13 already right now. And
the stat of choice to point out right now, points off turnovers, Mohawk 10, Redeemer 0. And that's 4 turnovers for Redeemer. Mohawk has converted on almost all of them, including a couple of three-pointers and some three-point plays going the other way.
Redeemer currently winning the rebound battle. Hasn't helped them in its entirety yet, but
they are controlling the defensive glass well, and that's one of the things that can really cause a game to get away from you. And so that's got to be encouraging.
Most definitely.
And we should be getting back underway here, waiting for something to get sorted out on the scorer's table on the far side of the gymnasium here. In terms of new buys into the game, it looks like Scott Jenkins has made his way back in. He'll be joined by Jerry Mercury as well as Dante Richards. And it looks like, I believe that is Danielson Stewart, the second-year man out of Hamilton, coming in. Now that's number 8, closest to the inbounder Davis, and it looks like we might see some full court pressure here from Mohawk if they try and choke the inbounder on the entry. But we'll see. Still waiting on things to get going here. That's I think that's assistant coach, 2 alumni of their respective schools, Foster Brown and Cale Kalora, coming over to speak with the officials. Of course, Cale played a number of years here at Mohawk, while Coach Gerald Lametta was at Redeemer, and Jamie more than happy to have him join his staff upon making the move across town. And meanwhile, Foster Brown, I mean, his reputation here at Redeemer speaks for itself. He's one of the more successful athletes Redeemer's had, participating and leading some fantastic teams, and now he finds himself on the staff here at Redeemer. And it looks like we should be ready to go. It'll be Davis inbounding, 2-man guarding Thackeray, and Barbosa going to be the third entry. Right back to Davis, and that's an entry pass towards King, and the kick pass, extra looking for Barbosa, driving with the left hand. He drives, gets it inside, and lays it in. Brilliant ball movement by Redeemer. Getting into the paint, swinging it, extra pass, the drive, and Barbosa finishing with the left hand. And King Stewart playing as a bit of a pivot on that press break is successful. And now Davis with the turnover. He will lay it in. Mercury not going to challenge that one, and a quick 4-0 run to start coming out of the timeout for Redeemer. And now some full court pressure. Thackeray stepping up to try and take it away from Mercury. He'll go behind the back, pulls up on the left elbow, and that shot is no good. Rebound is corralled by Gabe Della Foresta. Redeemer trying to go back quickly. Davis for 3, and it rims out. What a shot that would have been. It would have lifted up this crowd, but Redeemer's got it back to single digits coming out of that timeout. Dosen, kick pass, quick trigger. The 3 is short, and the rebound tussled for, and it's brought down by King Stewart. And is that going to be a kick ball on Mercury? No, the officials will not call it, as Della Foresta put that off the outstretched knee, it looked like, of Jerry Mercury.
I think that was Jackson Thackeray, actually.
Oh, was it?
I think so.
Yeah. It's the second time I've seen one that I thought might have been a justified kick ball, but the referee's letting them play here. And so 2 substitutions coming in. Benjamin Dick coming back in the game with 2 fouls. A bit of a risky decision here. 5 on the shot clock. Dick with the screen. Arnold trying to go one-on-one against Dante Richards. He will lay it up with the right hand. Great defending by Richards. And Mohawk can come the other way. Jenkins, the lob to Jackson. And he can't quite put it in. And Dick the rebound. Jalen Jackson was up in the air. The lob, maybe not enough height on it. And now Redeemer coming the other way. Arnold for 3, and it is short. And now Jackson will streak the other way. Coming up against Thomas Barbosa. And that's going to go off of Barbosa, but he got back, was able to strip the ball free. And Redeemer will live to fight another day in transition.
And some good defensive hustle from Cole Arnold there, missing a 3 in the corner, but tracking back to the option that Mohawk had to pass it to there, making the player with the ball go up and get blocked.
And now Mercury trying to go one-on-one against El Foresta. Caught under the basket. He will dish it to the right-hand side. And that's going to be an offensive foul on Jalen Jackson. The basket is no good. Davis standing his ground. Jackson lowering the shoulder. Davis took it well, and that will be an offensive foul on Jackson. The second team foul for Mohawk in this first quarter. And so a couple of encouraging plays on both sides of the court for Redeemer, as they maintain the 4-0 start coming out of that timeout. Well timed by Coach Hopkins. It certainly looks like it now. High pressure from Mohawk, trying to hand it off to Del Foresta. Mercury able to come onto it, and he slams it in for 2. And so that high pressure causing another turnover. Arnold unable to convert the handoff. And can Redeemer respond? Great backdoor cut by Davis. Oswomo with the dish, and Davis puts it in for 2. Great answer by Redeemer. Mohawk looking quickly, a quick reversal towards Jerry Mercury, and he hits his second 3-pointer of the game. Mercury with 5 straight points, keeping the offensive flow going for the Mountaineers. And that'll be out of bounds. Redeemer ball in their own backcourt. And now we're going to see 2 new players to the game. It's going to be Carter Brown, and we're also going to see Elton Adam make his way back into the game. Elton Adam had a great first year with Mohawk last year, 5.9 points per game with Mohawk on 17.9 minutes per game, so very efficient. And he'll come down in transition, lays it in with the up and under, finishing with the right hand, and the lead's back to 14. Davis in transition with a nifty spin move, puts it up, and he will go to the line.
Parker Davis, the leading scorer for the Royals so far in this game. Opportunity to be the leading scorer in the game if he makes these 2 free throws. Or at least move closer to Marco Dosen, who we believe may have 9. This could give Parker Davis 8 points. Davis should he make this one.
Yeah, Davis coming off of a career year last year in his return to Redeemer after a year away at McMaster. His 4th year this year. Last year, averaging 19 points per game on 27 minutes per game. Was a player that Coach Hopkins depended on very heavily. And, of course, with the loss of Rob Mandela this year, Davis expected to play an even bigger role. And it's going to be a turnover down on the Redeemer side of the court. And so with 1:42 to go, Redeemer down by 12. The pressure remains constant for Mohawk. They've caused a large number of turnovers, and there's another one. Jackson going down, and he will get up and put it down for 2. Another turnover created in that front court by the Mohawk guards, and now we've got another one here on the inbound. And a lot of energy from that Mohawk bench. Redeemer, their 6th turnover of the game. That's what we're seeing. It certainly feels like it's been a lot more, though.
It's looking like it's the silver bullet so far for Redeemer so far this game. They seem to be equally as capable as putting out offense as this Mohawk team, but they've been giving this Mohawk team a little bit more easier offense by giving them turnovers. It's a 3 here from the wing. Scott Jenkins missed that one, and Thomas Barbosa corrals the rebound. Drives left, goes up with the acrobatic layup. That one's good. Great move by Thomas Barbosa.
They got to get back here. Mohawk is not hesitating when they get scored on, going right back down the other way. It's the difference in the game right now. That 14 points off of turnovers. That's what's giving Mohawk the advantage. And now here is Jenkins. Dishes it down underneath to Ikaroda. That's J.J. Ikaroda, the first year, getting on the board. Barbosa crossing over, trying to go one-on-one. Fakes the shot on Carter Brown. He'll go right back at him, going towards his left. Lays it up with the right. Brilliant finish off the glass. And another bucket there by Thomas Barbosa. 8-second differential game clock, shot clock. Ultimatum will go right at Benjamin Dick, trying to draw him into what would be his third foul. A foul is called. A couple of Royals in the vicinity. And it's going to be, I think they're going to call that on Thackeray, Jared.
I believe so.
But a sigh of relief for the coaching staff of Redeemer, putting Benjamin Dick right back in there with 2 fouls in the first quarter.
Exactly, yeah. Jackson Thackeray, a very good defensive guard, but being a good defensive guard, you're going to put yourself in a lot of positions where you have to defend other players in tough positions, and from that you'll get some fouls. So while fouls are not what you want to see in a large amount from your own team, Jackson Thackeray definitely in the right spot and unfortunately has to commit a foul there. But we see the first free throw missed from Ultimatum.
That's the first free throw missed by either team in this game. Of course, it's been relatively quiet. Neither team making their way into the bonus in this first quarter, despite a lot of transition action going both ways. And so 23 seconds, shot clock is off. Barbosa will have to clear the backcourt against Scott Jenkins. And he will. Thackeray looking to possibly hold for the last shot. Dick trying to position himself on the interior. That's a dish right back out to Thackeray. 8 to shoot. They're going to call Dick up for the screen. Jackson goes the other way. He will kick it. Extra pass maybe there. Barbosa holding on to it. Has to put up a shot. He does, but it is short. And that is how the first quarter will come to a close. We got a shootout, Jared.
Absolutely.
Mohawk 34, Redeemer 21 after 10.
Yeah, we got caught up in announcing there, and I didn't see the score creep up that high for the Mountaineers, but 34 points in the first quarter is quite an offensive output for the visiting team.
And both teams, I mean, efficiency certainly not lacking. Redeemer 10 of 18 from the field, Mohawk 12 of 24.
Yeah.
And, you know, both teams getting out there quickly in transition. Both teams not scared to pull the trigger from beyond the arc.
Yeah. As I say that, Mohawk having 34 points, 21 points for Redeemer is a fantastic output in a quarter for the OCAA.
And you got to say that as well, because when you're going against a Mohawk team that's going to put up a lot of points, there's got to be a little bit of counteracting on the defensive side. But, you know, it's encouraging for Coach Hopkins for sure, but definitely you got to clean things up defensively. Yeah, otherwise, you're going to be in for a long night.
Yeah. The story of the first quarter being turnovers for Redeemer and the points off it for Mohawk. 7 turnovers committed by the Royals and 14 points off of those turnovers for the Mountaineers, while only 2 turnovers committed by Mohawk and 2 points off those turnovers for Redeemer. They're going to have to swing that the other way to make a run at this lead.
And that's got to be a topic of discussion. You know, you understand, you've seen it on film. You know that Mohawk's going to play a lot of bodies. We've seen that. They've gone at least 10 deep in this first quarter. They're going to pressure high, right? They're going to try and cause those turnovers and hope that that pays its dividends late in the game. And if you can get points off of those turnovers, all the better. But Mohawks, you know, they've scored in the half court as well. It's not just been in the full court, but those two things being a bit of a double-edged sword right now for Redeemer.
Yeah, most definitely. As we're about to start our second quarter, we'd like to thank Wes Shilstra of Remax Escarpment Realty, the official sponsor of our Final Score updates this season. Wes is passionate about helping families find their place to call home. So whether you're buying or selling, trust experience and integrity. Trust Wes Shilstra of Remax Escarpment Realty. Thank you, Wes, for your ongoing support of Redeemer Royals athletics.
And we are set to go here. It'll be Barbosa and Thackeray in the backcourt with the Della Foresta twins. Ben Dick staying on the court with those 2 fouls. And it looks like Mohawk's going to bring in a bit of a larger lineup to try and counteract that. We'll get to it in just a minute. Here's a swing to the left-hand side. Gabe Del Foresta thought he had it, but just got a bit too much on it, and now Marco Dosen coming the other way. That's a flip pass from Raza across court to Dante Richards, guarded by Redeemers Jackson Thackeray, and that's good pressure by the Royals, and they'll start things off with the turnover. Iverson Chong could not control the pass. And so Chong and Richards making up that front court, meanwhile, for Mohawk. And now here's a dish pass, a risky one across the court. Barbosa was able to get to it. Chong taking away that extra pass to Jeremiah Del Foresta. Here's the kick. Thackeray going on Dosen. Extra help. A great dish pass with the left hand. And now Gabe is going to go up for two. And that's a rhythm pull-up jumper for Del Foresta as he knocks it down. A confident shooter stroke there. And now coming the other way, that's going to be Milos Mlađan, the other big man coming in. Here's a three from Raz on the left-hand side. It's off, but it's kept alive by Mlađan. And now 10 to shoot for Mohawk. Extra pass, the swing. Raza has to put up a shot. 5 to shoot. Gets inside, penetrating the outside defenders, and he scores. And a nice take there by Kazim Raza, getting himself back on the board. Redeemer down 13, a minute and a half gone by in the second quarter. Here's another take inside by Barbosa. It's no good. Dick on the rebound, goes up with the right hand. Too much on it. Couldn't put it in, and now Redeemer has to get back because here comes Iverson Chong, driving with the right hand. Dishes up top to Milos Mlađan, and that is off. Here is Thackeray. Entry pass in the high post to Ben Dick. He'll face up against Mlađan. Dishes to Thackeray, coming in on the outside cut. An awkward looking jumper there by Thackeray. Couldn't really get his feet underneath him, and that is off. Good looking play though by Redeemer. And now Thackeray trying to sneak that one away from Chong. And that is going to be 3 fouls on Benjamin Dick as he cuts off the attacking Marco Dosen. And it was before the shot, so the follow-up bucket by Dosen will not count, but Dick is going to have to sit now with 3 fouls, 7:45 to go in the second quarter.
That's even more consequential right now as we see Mohawk playing the double big lineup.
They will keep Mlađan in. They'll run the little Western seal pass, and Mlađan going up with the left hand. Can't put it in. Definitely his weaker hand. And now, meanwhile, we've got Elijah Ona making his debut here in regular season action. Davis going up with the right hand. He will get that. It is tipped in by Elijah Ona. And so the rookie freshman out of causing a bit of a ruckus here inside the Redeemer Athletic Center. Ona, the first year out of Hamilton, gets the put back to go, and he'll force a 5-second violation. And we got a timeout here? No, it looked like we might, but it's just a substitution for Mohawk. Kazim Raza coming out of the game. Mercury checks in. Ona will dish it inside, put right back to him, and he lays it in for 2. Brilliant inbounds play drawn up there. King Stewart got the inbound, kicked it right back to Ona, and Ona's got himself a little 4-0 run. And that right there is going to be a foul. King Stewart got caught in the air. Marco Dosen with the pump fake. The crowd here at Redeemer really getting into it there, but definitely good patience by Dosen to draw the foul.
Yeah, you can't ask for anything more from your first year coming off the bench there. With the starters playing heavy minutes in this game up against a good team, you just really want an injection of energy and grit and grind from your bench, and that's exactly what Ona provided there, making 3 fantastic plays in the span of just maybe 15 seconds or so.
Less than that, absolutely. Yeah. Meanwhile, Dosen goes 2 for 2 from the line, so the lead back beyond double digits for Mohawk. Cole Arnold's going to come back in the game here. Barbosa will sit. Barbosa with 6 points in the game, 2 assists. Cole Arnold will come back in, the starting point guard for Redeemer here. Davis will inbound to Ona, who's got 4 points. And Davis, the leading scorer for the Royals with 8. Trying to hand that off to Ona. That's a turnover. Another turnover in the front court, and the dish pass to Mercury. He caught it midair, tried to lay it up, and he was fouled, so he'll go right back to the line for the Mountaineers.
I don't believe that foul necessarily puts anyone else in foul trouble for the Royals, but still can't be handing out easy points against this team when you're 13 down, especially based on how much they like to get out in transition. Redeemer will have to limit their fouls as much as possible, seeing as Mohawk hasn't even committed one team foul yet this quarter.
And they might not necessarily show up as points directly off of turnovers, but nevertheless, the turnover obviously playing the factor in creating that opportunity. Mercury will knock down both free throws, so the lead is back to 14. 3 minutes gone by here in this second quarter. Oswomo controlling it for Redeemer, guarded by Chong in the full court. And that's going to be King Stewart with the screen, but I think Oswomo stepped out of bounds. And so that's going to be another turnover, albeit a dead ball turnover. So a little bit more preferable, but of course the turnovers continuing to pile up, and that's a great steal by Mercury. Stepping through, might have gotten a little bit generous with the steps as he laid that in, but nevertheless, Mercury's got himself on the board once again. And here's King Stewart catching it at the top of the three-point line. He'll go one-on-one against Marco Dosen. He'll try and float that up from about 15 feet. That would have been a brilliant shot, but it's no good. And now 3-on-2 the other way. The kick pass is open for Ultimatum, but Iverson Chong will keep it himself, and he lays it in. And Mohawk in the middle of an 8-0 run here. Redeemer trying to stop the bleeding and keep this one within striking distance, at least for now. Arnold calling for the screen. They'll lay off. The dish pass to Oswomo. Extra help coming. Richards. Pump fake by Oswomo. And that one was in and out, but it ultimately falls outside of the rim. And Oswomo will go to the line for two. A nice play there by Oswomo to create that contact and nearly have himself a three-point play opportunity.
Great patience, good awareness, especially when you're down 18. This other team's moving fast. It's important that you're able to keep your head and make good calculated plays, and that's exactly what Jason Oswomo did right there. Was able to recognize that he was going to draw contact from that shot fake, and it was just muscle memory for him to do so.
Oswomo, the third year out of Brampton, Ontario. He's been a real energy guy for the Royals as he gets settled in with the team. And this year really coming into his own. Had a great preseason. We speak with Coach Hopkins and set to have another good impact with Redeemer this year. And meanwhile, here comes the Mountaineers the other side. They're going to enter this pass to Dosen. A bit of a mismatch on that left-hand side. They will isolate that side of the court. Dosen trying to go one-on-one against Oswomo. Great defending. And it's going to be a foul on the floor. And no, they're going to say he was in the act of shooting. He must have caught him on the way up because Dosen will go right back to the line. A pretty efficient, first half for Marco Dosen. He's got 8 points. He's 4 for 4 from the line. Make that 5 for 5. And he will try to push this lead to 19 here with this second one. And so 5.5, just over 5.5 minutes to go. Redeemer trying to look for answers now. Cole Arnold going one-on-one against Ultimatum, and it looks like the foul was going to be called on Dosen as he came off that screen. Clipped him with the left hip, and so that'll be 2 team fouls on Mohawk. And so Barbosa back into the game for Redeemer. He's got 6 points in this game. And now Cole Arnold will try go driving with the left hand. He will dish it to Barbosa, fading out towards the left-hand side, and that three-pointer is good. Barbosa back into the game, and he's back on the score sheet. He's got 9 points. And now Della Foresta, some aggressive defending on Jerry Mercury. He will dish it back up to Jenkins. Dosen for 3. That is off. Corralled there, but the rebound is brought back in, but Jerry Mercury collects it, puts it up for 2. Della Foresta committing the foul, and Jerry Mercury coming up with the bucket, and he will go to the line for one more.
Yeah, Tomas Barbosa making a good hustle play to keep the ball in bounds there, but unfortunately him keeping it in bounds meant he had some pressure from Mohawk, and they intercepted his attempt to keep it in bounds and have such made their way to the free throw line. And did the basket count? Did we get...
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a three-point play chance here. It looks like the scoreboard hasn't added it yet. We'll keep an eye on that. But they're going to say one shot indeed, and there it is. So 50 points Mohawk has reached with 5 to go here in quarter number 2. And the pressure continuing here. Barbosa going to drive the lane at the feet of Benjamin Dick. We'll kick it out to Jeremiah Della Foresta. That shot a little bit too much on it. And the Mohawk players there, Jenkins and Dosen on that left-hand side by the Redeemer bench, will elect to just let it go. And they'll inbound here.
Redeemer still shooting 2 of 4 from 3, though. That's 50%. If they can find a couple more looks and keep that efficiency, that can be a good source of offense for them.
Dosen setting the screen for Jenkins, coming off the roll. Redeemer maintaining their matchups. Dish pass to Ultimatum, 8 to shoot. High post touch for Dosen. Davis getting a hand on it, and it's going to be a loose ball foul. Dosen is going to get called for it as Davis tipped it out of his hands. Dosen came back to play it, and he is guilty of the foul as it was in the head and neck area of Parker Davis for sure. And now they're going to try to go quickly here. Barbosa driving with the left hand. He will dish it to Arnold. Extra pass. Della Foresta driving. He will pass it to Davis, cutting in from the left side, but couldn't get enough under it. And that one falls out. Mohawk going the other way. Jenkins pulls up for 3 from about 2 steps behind the three-point line. Bit of a heat check there for Scott Jenkins, and it's off. And now here's Jeremiah Della Foresta. Good from 3. And right on cue, Jared knocks one down. Redeemer 3 for 5 from beyond the arc. Lead is now 16. Mercury driving, gets inside on Davis and puts it in. A strong finish from Mercury there. And now here comes Arnold driving strong. Dick with the dish pass. Barbosa for 3. Good! And Thomas Barbosa hits another one. So Redeemer, the shots are falling. They're keeping themselves in this one. That shot from Jenkins is well off, and that's going to be an over-the-back foul. Jerry Mercury Jr. tried to come in over the top there of Della Foresta, and he will be guilty of the foul. And it looks like he is going to be... No, that's Dosen coming out of the game for Omaforma. But it's another loose ball foul. Redeemer trying to keep themselves in it. Back-to-back threes. You mentioned that, Jared. A possible way for them to get back in this game. And they found 2 quick ones.
Absolutely.
Risky pass there. Arnold able to get back on it. Della Foresta traveled. Scott Jenkins was trying to come in for the massive swat on the 3, but Della Foresta shuffled his feet as he put it down. And we know that Jeremiah Della Foresta can light it up from deep, and Scott Jenkins surely does as well. Got caught on the pump fake, but luckily gets bailed out on the travel.
And with that last 3-pointer by Redeemer, we see Thomas Barbosa jump to a game-high 12 points so far in this first half.
And now on the left-hand side, that's going to be Danielson Stewart. Dishes back to Elton Adam. And now Iverson Chong calling for the screen. Here is the screen. He'll drive to the right-hand side. Help coming from Arnold. Not there, but the left-hand finish goes. Iverson Chong taking the screen, driving with his right hand. A strong finish. The basket will count. It will be Ben Dick picking up the foul. And Iverson Chong will go to the line for one more.
And while it's unfortunate to see Ben Dick get into foul trouble here, we've really seen King Stewart step up to the table and provide some really good minutes for the Royals here. So it's definitely a bit of a bittersweet piece of foul trouble there for Ben Dick. And now we see even Jack Narula check into the game here, taking up Dick's position, boxing out on the low block on that free throw. He'll be guarding Mohawk's big for the time being.
And now Aswomo will drive, trying to find Narula, to your point, but couldn't do it. And now a 3-on-2 the other way. Possible numbers. Aswomo trying to drive right hand. He will try and wrap it underneath with the left hand, and he will pick up the foul. It's going to be Paul Omaforma. the first-year forward out of Calgary, Alberta. St. Mary's High School product, making his way across the country here to Hamilton and getting some run here with 2.5 minutes to go in the second quarter. Timeout called. Mohawk up by 18. Both teams still being able to fill up the basket, but those turnovers are still hurting Redeemer right now.
Yeah, most definitely. Despite that, I'm really enjoying the aggressive play from Jason Oswomo, getting to the basket, drawing those fouls, especially when you're going against the team that kind of has their offense humming. You're looking for anything that can slow them down, and foul calls can be really frustrating for a team that's cruising, especially when they don't think they're deserved. And Jason Oswomo getting to the bucket, drawing a foul, slowing the game down, hopefully getting Mohawk in some foul trouble and getting them a little bit frustrated can maybe help chip away at their mojo and also this lead.
And you look at some of those players that have been picking up those fouls. Dosen, of course, with multiple. Mercury with the loose ball foul down there. Those time of guys, Coach Gerald Amato is known to be conservative with his players when they're in foul trouble, and so taking them out of the game, throwing off the rhythm of the lineup is certainly something that's going to work to Redeemer's advantage down the stretch.
Most definitely.
And so it'll be 2 shots now for Oswomo. Coming in out of the timeout. And he is good on the first. Last year for Redeemer, Oswomo averaged just over 4 points per game on just over 14 minutes a game as a second year. And this year he's got himself up to a good start once again. And he will guard Iverson Chong here in the full court. Chong trying to go one-on-one, will dish it to Elton Adam. And Omaforma at the top of the key will allow Mohawk to get another half-court set. The screen coming. Chong taking it with his right hand. He will drive. Help coming from Del Foresta. Going in with the left hand. Crossover. Omaforma on the offensive rebound. Follows up and puts it in. And so the lead back to 18 now. 2:20 to go in the second quarter. Oswomo trying to drive and create some offense. And he's going to get called on the moving screen. It's going to be an offensive foul, team control foul, so the bonus will not apply. Mohawk will have the inbound. It's another turnover, though, for Redeemer. And look at Jack Narula right now, face guarding the last year's second-team All-Star, Marco Dosen. Clearly a situational occurrence. Dosen trying to make it very clear that he's not making contact, but Narula shadowing him very closely. Now Chong will call for that screen. Narula coming in as a hedging player. Iverson Chong goes up for 3 and knocks it down, gets the shooter's bounce. The lefty pulls up off the screen and knocks in a triple. So 21 points. Mohawk has jumped up to that lead, and that's a turnover again. But Elijah Ona will get back on it. 10 to shoot. Numbers here. Thackeray pulling up from 3, and that is short. What do we got here? That's a foul. That's going to be a loose ball foul, not one you want to take for Jack Narula, because it will put the Mountaineers on the line. So Narula's first, but it'll send Kazim Raza the full length of the court to shoot 2. Crucial. Last 2 minutes, it feels like, Jared. The offense for Mohawk hasn't really been slowed down. And you got to be careful here that you remain within striking distance. Obviously, you want to produce something on the offensive side. But keeping Mohawk off the board from letting this one get too out of hand almost seems just as critical. Yeah,
and we see both teams just about on pace with their first quarter scoring. So not a lot changing either way. Mohawk definitely, by scoring more points, they've been able to pull away, but not comparatively to the first quarter. But Redeemer will either have to slow down Mohawk's offense or get their own going to a higher degree. We saw them hit a couple quick threes in this quarter. Did not have the same situation in the first half as Jackson Thackeray gets a nice back cut here. Parker Davis goes up and puts that one home. Nice vision from Thackeray and a good awareness from Parker Davis.
Thackeray taking a ton of dribbles, but was able to maintain his composure, patient with the ball, and finds Davis in the backdoor cut.
Yeah.
That's great offense there. And now Davis trying to play gap defense. Chong going right back to the rim with the left hand. That one doesn't go. And now Thackeray trying to put it up quickly. Had Davis streaking down the court. And now Ona trying to wrap it underneath the arms of Elton Adam. What do we got here? It looked like, I think, Caden King-Stewart touched the ball as he was out of bounds. And so, not a turnover that time. No foul. But Mohawk will get possession here with a minute to go.
And I was talking earlier about Redeemer maybe being able to utilize the three-pointer a bit more. I know they've both shot more and made more this quarter, but haven't really seen an uptick in their scoring. So that's slightly concerning for the Royals. But I guess when you take a three-pointer, you trade it for some offense that they might have got otherwise. So still good to see consistent offensive output from the Royals this quarter.
So for your Redeemer right now, you got to be thinking 2 stops. 1 minute to go, 2 stops. You'll get 1 possession for sure. You got to hold them off here. Good help side defense by Davis. The three-pointer, that's blocked by Davis. And they will collect it here. Streaking for the ball is King-Stewart. 5 to shoot in his own backcourt. Dante Richards needs to put one up from half court. And that one hits the rim. Arnold will get control of it. Parker Davis coming all the way from help side defense to block the three-point attempt there by Scott Jenkins. And now a skip pass. Della Foresta had the pin screen by Davis. He'll step back for a deep 2, and that is off. Dosen with the rebound. 20 on the game clock. Shot clock is off. Mohawk trying to look quickly for one, and now Jamie Girolamo signaling for Richards to hold for 1. Dosen coming to set the screen. He will step out of it quickly. One-on-one against King-Stewart. Dosen trying to step up and under, and knocks down the 2. What a shot there from Marco Dosen to put a stamp on this first half, dominated by Mohawk. Dosen leads the scoring for Mohawk with 14.
But you really can't ask more from King-Stewart on the defensive end there. Forcing Dosen to the perimeter, picked up his dribble, had to step through and take a difficult shot, but still made it despite all the odds.
You got to be thinking in that type of situation, good defense, better offense, the classic mantra as it goes. But either way, Marco Dosen with a heck of a first half, and Mohawk will head into the locker room with a 23-point lead, but you get the feeling, we saw this last year in this game between Mohawk and Redeemer. Mohawk coming in with an electric first half. The scoring dried up in the second half. Redeemer was able to knock down some shots, so certainly Redeemer can't be hanging their heads too much. We'll see what type of adjustments Coach Hopkins and Coach Brown are able to put in place here at halftime. Your thoughts on Mohawk's depth there in that first half?
Yeah, Mohawk really having a lot of options coming into that game. We see them have some pretty clustered scoring at the top, a lot of people contributing, but still we've got many bench guys with a couple buckets. Really shows that they can bring pretty much anyone into the game and have them have a good effect when their best players are also carrying some offensive load, but also seeing some real good depth from Redeemer. I think the main difference is kind of at the top. Arvidsson Chong having 15, Marco Dosen with 12, and Mercury with 10. We don't see quite that top 3 from the Royals, but yeah, really good depth from both teams. A lot of guys getting action, and a lot of really eventful basketball in this first half.
Both teams with very efficient scoring halves. We mentioned that at the end of the first quarter, but that stays true. Both teams actually shooting very close in terms of overall field goal percentage at 47%. But Redeemer was able to find their mark from beyond the arc and just kept them in this game. You look at the Della Foresta twins, Thomas Barbosa finding his mark twice behind the arc, and Redeemer, they're going to need that and probably a little bit more in this second half, and so it's encouraging to see that that's still there for them,
And with Redeemer winning the three-point battle, I believe they've got 4 to Mohawk's 3. Trailing by so much means they are definitely losing the 2-point battle and probably giving up a lot more points in the paint, which can be easy buckets but can also be transition buckets, and we've seen a lot of that from Mohawk tonight. So,
and the free throw efficiency. It's always something that every coach wants to ensure that they're being on top of, and Mohawk has certainly shown that here in this first half. We'll step aside briefly here at halftime, as hopefully you can get a good look at some of the halftime showcase here at Redeemer. Always a great game day atmosphere, but we will be back shortly for the second half.
We're fine.
And so back here at halftime, just under 5 minutes to go until we get things back going again. During the break, Jared and I took a look into last year's game here at Redeemer against Mohawk. Eerily similar halftime scoreline.
It was 58-36 at halftime last year.
Right.
For Mohawk.
So a difference of only 1 point, and actually Redeemer was trailing by less. And of course they had a great turnaround in the third quarter. Outscored Mohawk in both the third and fourth, made it a really close game. So certainly feels like we've been here before. Of course, Mohawk is keen to not let the same mistake happen twice in terms of how they stayed composed in that third, fourth quarter. But either way, room for both teams to see some improvement, and maybe Redeemer can find it in themselves to come back here.
Yeah, we saw some good bursts from Redeemer out of timeouts in the first half. Hoping we can carry that from halftime as well. Definitely some adjustments to make at halftime for Coach Hopkins, but if he injected something that led to a good burst during those timeouts in the first half, maybe the same can happen after halftime, and we'll see a similar third quarter as last year. Narrow this game a little bit and have a little bit more of a nail-biter down the wire. We hope we can have that.
One other game taking place across the OCAA on this Friday evening. It's another game in the OCAA West. The Fanshawe Falcons against the Sheridan Bruins. Sheridan currently leads 39-36 as they are also at halftime over in Brampton. Tomorrow we'll see Lambton against Canadore and Conestoga taking on Niagara. Meanwhile, for both of these teams, it's going to be a road trip for Redeemer out west to Sarnia as they'll take on the Lambton Lions a week from today over at Lambton for their second game of the season. And meanwhile, Mohawk will have their own home opener next Saturday right here in Hamilton, not too far, against Niagara. And so just finishing up the halftime shoot around here, 2 minutes to go. No notable injuries to report from either team. However, foul trouble certainly will prove most likely to be a bit of a limiting factor for at least Redeemer. Ben Dick with 4 fouls in that first half. We'll see.
4? Wow.
I believe he did get his 4th.
Okay.
Yeah, late in the second quarter. So
yeah,
that might provide a little bit of trouble for Redeemer if they need some of that depth down the stretch. But like you mentioned, next man up. You know, Caden King Stewart, the first year, played at Cathedral High School, a high-level high school program down there in downtown Hamilton, and he'll certainly be ready. He was a late addition to this Redeemer roster, was not on the squad throughout the entirety of the preseason, but Coach Hopkins spoke very highly of his impact, his ability to learn quickly, and we've certainly seen that here in the first half of regular season play.
And also Jack Narula coming into the half, kind of later in the half, but both first-year guys, both checking into guard, fourth-year threat, Marco Dosen, who's been getting it done both inside, from the free throw line, from the three-point line. Definitely tough covers, and good to have those options behind your starting center.
To provide a bit of an update on the statistical side of things, as our halftime stats get finalized, Jerry Mercury was 8 for 10 from the field in that first half, a highly efficient half, and he leads the scoring with 18 points.
And as we come into the start of the second half, we'd like to thank Finn Pools, which is a proud sponsor of your Royals and the Make a Splash move of the game. For over 25 years, Finn Pools has been transforming backyards with custom designs, expert installations, and trusted maintenance, delivering top quality products they stand behind. From concept to completion, they believe kindness matters and every project deserves excellence. Visit finnpools.ca, that's FINNPOOLS.ca, to learn more or to start your next pool project today. Thank you to Finn Pools for supporting Redeemer Royals Athletics.
And so start of the second half here at Redeemer. 64-41. Will Dykstra, Jared Meyer joining you here on the broadcast. We thank you for joining us here again. Mohawk in the orange, going from right to left, and they'll start off by going right back at Marco Dosen, and he puts it in for 2.
And good from Dosen to keep that ball high, not give the defender any chance to swat that out of his hands. He knows he has the advantage there in the height category.
Dosen with 17 points. Davis with his signature going towards his left on the baseline. The shot just short. We've seen Davis do that a number of times here with Redeemer now. Kazim Raza is going to go with his left hand. Shot rims out. Rebound can't be put back in by Ultimatum or Raza. And Redeemer will take it the other way. A transition look for Thackeray. Thought he had Della Ferres to open, but Dosen was able to come back and tip it out of bounds. And so both Dosen and Jerry Mercury with great first halves. Mercury starting the second half on the bench. Meanwhile, a curling play off the inbound. Couldn't put it in. Was Cole Arnold coming off the inbound, and Benjamin Dick couldn't carry it forward either. Mohawk trying to come back the other way, build on this second half run, and it is Iverson Chong. Puts it in with the right hand. Was able to catch his defender off. No help from Redeemer. An easy layup for Chong, and a 4-0 run to start the second half for the Mountaineers. Here's a dish to the corner. Thackeray gets away from him. Picked up by Raza. 2-on-1 the other way. Adam trying to drive. Tipped from behind. Davis got a hand on it. And it'll stay Mohawk possession here at this end.
Now, as we mentioned Cole Arnold a moment ago, 4 assists in the first half for Cole Arnold. Also, Scott Jenkins for the Mountaineers, 4 assists in the first half. Both of them going scoreless, but providing a lot of setups for their team.
Jenkins with the inbound pass will find Raza. That three-pointer does not go. We spoke a lot about Jenkins. Played 4 years at Queens. He's a real scoring threat, but not one that's hurt Redeemer in this game. But the depth of Mohawk clearly evident. Here's a floater by Cole Arnold. Penetrating, getting into the paint, but can't get it over the rim. And Raza will come the other way. Swing it back up top. Entry pass. This is Dosen on Benjamin Dick with 4 fouls. Dick has to be careful. Dosen puts it in over top. And it's a quick start to this half. Exactly what Mohawk was looking for. Here's a dish underneath. Looking for Parker Davis with the right hand. A nice dish there by Thomas Barbosa. And Davis gets the Royals on the board here in quarter number 3. Jenkins. Reverse pass off the screen and roll. Finds Raza lifting. He'll give it back down to Dosen. Going one-on-one against Dick. Back out to Dosen, top of the key. He will let it fly, and that's short, but the rebound picked up. Nobody there taking it for Redeemer. A fresh 14 for the Mountaineers, and is this going to be 5 on Ben Dick? If it is, it's a weak one, and it certainly is. Questionable at best as Dosen picked up his dribble, lost the basketball, and the referee here on the near side makes the call. And I think it's going to be 4 on Benjamin Dick. We might have been incorrect with quoting it as 5. Meanwhile, off the inbound, Jenkins finds Dosen, sealing his man on the inside, who is now Caden King Stewart replacing. And it's another 2 points for Dosen. He's got 6 in the first half. Here's King Stewart, top of the key. He'll try to go one-on-one with the left hand, driving, dishes. Cole Arnold for 3. Good! And a response for the Royals. King Stewart, good composure, dishes it to the left-hand side, and Cole Arnold knocks it down. A 3-point shot in rhythm.
As we just mentioned, Jenkins and Cole Arnold a moment ago. Cole Arnold now getting a 3, and Jenkins with 2 more assists now this half. They're both starting hot from their good performances in the first half with 4 assists each. Still building on that.
And so this will stay down here at the Redeemer end. A couple substitutions on both sides. It's going to be Malajian coming back in for Mohawk, replacing Dosen. And it's Jerry Mercury also in. That dish pass, nobody there. Elijah Ona picks it up. He'll try to go one-on-one against Chong. Chong is going to get called for the block. So Ona taking it down in transition. Elijah Ona draws the foul. He'll go to the line for 2. Chong might have looked like he was trying to pick up the charge, but clearly did not set his feet, and so it'll be 2 shots for the first year out of Hamilton. We saw that brilliant stretch, that burst in the first half by Elijah Ona after he checked in. 4 quick points, and he'll have a chance to go right back to the line. A crowd favorite first year here on campus. And that first free throw.
Something we're currently seeing in the box score, despite the 26-point gap between these two teams, is near equal assists, 16-14 for the Mountaineers, and exactly equal bench points, 27-27. Both teams getting large contributions from their bench. As we speak of that, Elijah Ona knocks in his free throw and picks up Iverson Chong full court.
And I like that assist point because that's something that Redeemer struggled with at least the past 2 years, struggling to develop a bit of an offensive identity. And so we've seen a lot better offense, extra passes, extra drives, looking for open threes. It's looked good, but of course the defense needs to be cleaned up and keeping the ball in possession, avoiding those turnovers going the other way.
Yeah. Especially when you have a team with two large presences down low for Mohawk. They're able to get a lot of assists with easy dump-offs and lobs and stuff like that. To be kind of equal with a team that has that option when you don't maybe have that same option yourself is a really good sign for the Royals offense.
And so Chong is going to go to the line. He's got 2 shots coming up. 25-point lead rather. 3.5 minutes gone by. Mohawk remains consistent from the charity stripe. Chong knocks down another one. He'll have 1 more to come. And so Ben Dick will still be eligible to return to this game. We up here we're thinking he might have picked up his 5th, but it was actually just his 4th on that previous call. So he's still over there keeping loose on the sideline. We'll see if Coach Hopkins has faith in him to keep it clean before the end of the third quarter, if he's got to wait till the quarter end. Now Barbosa's going to go one-on-one against Jenkins. Coming over to help is Raza, but it's kept alive for Redeemer. 10 to shoot. Barbosa on Raza, going with his left. Spins back to his right. Dishes to Della Foresta, and that three-pointer is no good. We're going to have a foul here. It's going to be off ball, and I believe it's going to be on Caden King Stewart. And Mohawk will keep possession. That's the second foul of the game on King Stewart. How about that composure to keep it alive there by Barbosa? He's had a good game coming in off the bench in his second year with the Royals out of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Here's the dish pass. It's a lob, and that was controlled brilliantly by Jerry Mercury on the dish. Looked like he had to catch that off the backboard before laying it in. Meanwhile, here comes Ona down the left-hand side. We got a foul. It's going to be on King Stewart again, and this time it's a moving screen. So both of the Royals' bigs in some foul trouble now. King Stewart with 3 fouls, Dick with 4. King Stewart's going to stay in the game unless here comes Jack Narula, as I say that, to replace his fellow first year. And here's the seal by Dante Richards will now drive, trying to go one-on-one against Davis. Here's Malajian going right at Narula. That goes off the leg of Milos Malajian. And Jack Narula coming out with the stop. Mohawk going right at the undersized forward and trying to put him to work here. Narula listed here at 6'2" as a guard/forward. The first year out of King's Christian Collegiate, and he shows up with some good composure there on the defensive end. Here's a backdoor cut by Della Foresta. It goes off his fingertips on the dish. The bounce pass from Oswomo with a little too much heat on it, and Jeremiah Della Foresta couldn't keep it alive. And so here is Raza going down the lane on the outside. Solid, strong 2-foot finish, and it's another 2 points for Raza. That shot from Davis is off. Della Foresta with the offensive rebound. 13 more seconds to shoot. Oswomo will try to drive. Back up top to Ona. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Narula with the screen. Davis denies it. Goes towards his left. He will go up for 2, and it's going to be a defensive foul. So Davis was able to attack. The Mohawk bench thought it should have been a charge, as it looked like the defender was set. Davis went into him strong, but Davis able to get the contact to draw the defensive foul. He'll go to the line.
Yeah. And a few plays ago, we saw Mercury get a bucket from a lob on the other ends, and that put him to 20 points on the game, and he joins Marco Dosen, who has 21, as the only 2 players in this game with 20 points so far. We see Mohawk pulling away a little bit. Now they have a 30-point lead, and we see that mainly from kind of the top bracket of scorers, as Mercury and Dosen pulling a ways away from Redeemer's 2 top scorers, Barbosa and Davis, both with 12. One other note is Redeemer, I believe, was shooting around 47% from the field at half. They've dropped to 39 now on the game. a little bit of lower efficiency through this third quarter. They're going to have to get that back up.
Trying to turn up the pressure here. Narula coming all the way up to challenge that entry pass. 13 seconds on the shot clock. Here's Richards, guarded by Ona, screened by Malagin. The roll is there. It's off the foot of Jack Narula and will go out on the baseline. Mohawk will retain possession with 6 to shoot. Coach Girolamo asking for a kickball, which would reset the shot clock to 14, but it's not given. And so Mohawk's going to have to go quickly. Here is Richards, 4 on the shot clock. 1-on-1 against Ona. The 3 from 3 steps back. The rebound being tussled for. And it is going to be a foul, a loose ball foul. And it's going to be on Jack Narula on the box out. Malagin was streaking down from the 45 to try and get that long rebound off the shot from Richards. And he was hit midair by Jack Narula. It's going to be a foul on the first year. And so Malagin off on the first. Malagin, the 4th year forward, listed at 6'11". Another Hamilton man from Glendale Secondary School here in Hamilton. And now here comes a Suomo going right at him, trying to put it in. And a tussle for it underneath the hoop. And we got a little bit outside of the play. That was Amadis Mackay against Elijah Ona. Mackay grabbed the rebound, was able to pull it down, swung his elbows after the whistle, and might have caught Ona on the jump ball after the whistle had blown. And that's exactly what we're going to see. It's going to be an unsporting foul on the 3rd year from Winnipeg. And so Ona will go to the line. He should get 2 shots here. Redeemer will maintain possession. Richards there to try and plead the case on behalf of his teammate, but to no avail. Ona will have 2 shots. And maybe that's one of those things as a first year playing in this new environment. Those free throws, it feels like you got to put more under it, and when the game's free flowing, you feel good, and when you take that second to kind of slow down, it feels much more intimidating. And so, not a huge surprise, having been there myself, to be able to notice and see that 1 for 4 from the free throw line isn't a huge surprise for a first year in his first game. He's certainly playing well, though. Especially
when 2 of those were just after he took a bit of a shot to the chest.
Yeah, for sure. That's a nice dish pass underneath by Barbosa, but Ona couldn't get to it. Here comes Richards down the left side, puts it in for 2. A strong finish over Jason Oswomo. Dante Richards right back the other way in transition, pushes the lead over 30. Mohawk starting to pull away here. Here comes Ona. That is blocked by Dosen, who's come back into the game. And so with 4 minutes to go here in quarter number 3, we're going to see Ben Dick come back in. He's joined by Parker Davis and Cole Arnold. And so maybe a bit of a last gasp scenario if you're Coach Hopkins, but you got to put your best foot forward now. Lock down defensively. Keep the Mountaineers from pulling away too much, and try and hope you can get hot on the offensive side.
Yeah, and Jack Narula playing some good defense, having some good minutes, but didn't register to field goal attempts. Maybe that's possibly a rationale for Coach Hopkins bringing Ben Dick back in, looking maybe for some more offensive presence.
And they'll go at him here, trying to face up against Dosen, not really looking to score. 6 on the shot clock. Oswomo penetrating, going up against the big man. He'll go back to his left. Doesn't get the roll. Mercury pulls down the rebound. And so, Ben Dick making the catch at the high post, facing up, but really never looking like a threat to score. And we've seen that. Dick has not been an offensive presence, being matched up against a second-team All-Star from last year, but it's allowed Mohawk to turn up the pressure on some of those perimeter guys, making those backdoor entry passes a little bit more challenging. So here is Richards. Back to Dosen. He will leave it off to Elton Adam, who will drive a strong take to the rim, but too much on the finish. And it's off. Barbosa in transition. The dish to Cole Arnold. He will put it up for 3, and that is good. Cole Arnold registering another triple. And that's some encouraging signs for Redeemer. Cole Arnold able to knock down another. Here comes Jackson. High post feed. Dosen with the jumper, and it is good. So Dosen scoring on all 3 levels tonight. That one from about 15 feet took that looking smooth. And now Redeemer is going to have another turnover on their offensive possession. And so a 30-point advantage now. The spread being maintained by Mohawk. They've shown their ability to score at a number of levels. And we're going to see, I believe, that's going to be Carter Brown back in for Mohawk here. Jeremiah Della Foresta coming back into the game for Redeemer. And it looks like we're going to see a little bit of full court press action by Coach Hopkins trying to challenge that inbound. And that's going to be 5 fouls on Ben Dick. Trying to come down to guard Dosen as he had to come back to support. But he could not do so successfully. And so we'll have a short timeout here as Coach Hopkins looks at his bench to see who can replace Ben Dick here, who's fouled out with 2:50 to go in quarter number 3. And it will be Narula who gets a short break. He's going to get some good minutes here in this one. And he might be matched up against one of the better scorers in the OCAA West this season. So how about getting thrown into the fire? Talk about that.
But he's done well so far. Narula's really stepped up. Played in the absence of both Dick and King Stewart, and he definitely seems up to the occasion.
Dosen goes 2 for 2 again. Redeemer trying to put together some good offensive possessions. Narula coming up to play in that high post position. Looking for the back door. Davis taking it off the handoff. Gets to the rim, and that's a strong finish by your leading scorer. And Davis has got another 2. That's a good offensive possession. You know, you look for that high post touch, look for the back door. It's not there. The curl's your second option. Davis takes that. It's downhill the whole way. Gets past that first line of defense. The help's not there in time, and Davis able to finish. And that'll be put up to Jerry Mercury. He'll try to go one-on-one against Della Foresta. Couldn't get enough behind the three-pointer. It looked like Della Foresta might have gotten a touch on it, and it falls short. And that will be a possession for Redeemer. Cole Arnold, good pressure there on Davis by Elton Adam. He'll reverse it. Della Foresta, he traveled again. Trying to go against the run of his defender as he caught it. Looked like he might have pulled the trigger, but couldn't keep that pivot foot down. And so it is another turnover for the Royals. Under 2 to go here. Third quarter. Mohawk up by 30 on Redeemer here in this home opener. Both teams playing their first game of OCAA West action. Iverson Chong's got it. A high hedge there by Narula. Going down the right-hand side. Adam trying to put it in. Couldn't get it to go. The follow is there. And Carter Brown's got his first points of the game. This is Arnold. The skip pass across to Della Foresta. This time he will shoot. And that is good. Della Foresta knocks down another. The assist coming from Arnold. And Della Foresta's good again from deep. Here comes Brown. The good backdoor pass off the drive. Elton Adam this time is good on the finish. The assist there coming from Carter Brown. Draws the help. The help turns its back. And Elton Adam able to capitalize. Davis with the crossover. Trying to penetrate. That ball is tipped. And it'll go out of bounds. And so Scott Jenkins checks back in, as does Caden King Stewart. Jenkins still yet to find himself on the score sheet in this one. Meanwhile, Redeemer's got to get this in bounds. It's put in, and it was King Stewart coming around, or no? That's Caleb Connors. Sorry, from up here, mistaking those two. And so Caleb Connors gets into the game. The first year out of Halifax. And he'll draw the foul, so Redeemer will go right back at it again. The inbound and the handoff. Arnold taking it off the handoff. He will look for Della Foresta on the curl, dribbling with his left hand, dishes back out. Narula trying to penetrate. He will spin, and that's going to be a charge. That one taken there by Iverson Chong. That time gets his feet set, draws the offensive foul. Narula trying to spin and create some space, but that space was already occupied.
Yeah, unfortunate, because had not that contact been made, it was absolutely the right read, and the eventual shot did fall from Della Foresta, but yeah, foul committed, and ball with Mohawk.
And so some more high pressure being applied. Caleb Connors guarding Chong. Screen coming there. Chong will take it himself, going with his left hand. Della Foresta can't control the rebound, and this will be Ikaroda inside. Can't finish. Redeemer the other way with numbers. Arnold trying to lead the attack. He will cross over. Good patience underneath. Narula with the dribble spins. Can't get it to go. Connors on the rebound. He'll keep it himself. Inside to Cole Arnold, who does get the finish to go. And so some persistence by Redeemer on the offensive glass, and it turns into some points. Meanwhile, Mohawk trying to go quickly. That's a spin move. Keeps it alive and lays it in. And that is a finish there to this half.
This quarter.
With Danielson Stewart, this quarter rather, Stewart getting on the board. The score at the end of quarter number 3 is Mohawk 90, Redeemer 59. And so this third quarter, Mohawk keeping their foot on the pedal. Redeemer not able to make up any ground, and so they'll take a commanding lead here into quarter number 4.
Yeah, we're seeing that roughly 30 points from Mohawk and roughly 20 points from Redeemer continue to be the scoreline that we see in each quarter so far. And yeah, 30 points is, some would say, too much to make up in the fourth quarter, but anything can happen. But even so, to just have the reps in your first game of this season, you know, be in a situation where you're down against a really good team and you just get a quarter to go at them and see what your offense can run and what your defense can stop, it's a great opportunity for these Royals to be in.
And when we talked to Coach Hopkins, he really emphasized that this team has a nice mix of veteran players, returning players, some rookies. And so this is a great chance. I think we've seen it already. Guys like Narula, guys like Caleb Connors, who just checked into the game, to get some of those runs, some of those reps against a high-quality, well-coached team in a regular season environment, right? That's something that's tough to replicate.
Yeah.
And so this team has kind of had some guys moving in and out, some guys who weren't sure if they were going to be able to play or not. And so Coach Hopkins very, very keen on having his system solidified further as the season progresses.
Yeah. Redeemer probably knows the games that they want and need to win this regular season. Of course, they'd like to win all of them, but going up against some of the tougher opponents, you know, it's not going to be guaranteed, but they'll be picking out certain games that they really, really, really need to win, and this will be a great training ground here in this fourth quarter to really prep their guys for those games and make sure that they're, collected and really executing down the stretch.
And one of those games could be next week already. You know, we had, you look forward in the schedule, Lambton, a team that might be in competition for that 8th playoff spot in the OCAA West, spot that Redeemers come up short at obtaining the last 2 seasons. And so a critical game against Lambton coming up next week, and they'll want to go in there with as much confidence as possible, maybe a chance here in this fourth quarter to build some. So we're underway. It's Cole Arnold guarded by Jenkins to start off quarter number 4. And he will dish that into the corner for Della Foresta. Kicks it right back up to the top of the key. Arnold's three is no good. Controlling the rebound is Narula. Puts it up with the left hand. Can't get it to go. And Jenkins will pull down the rebound. Trying to look back door to get it to Stewart. Couldn't. He will reverse it to Brown. Dish back out to the point guard in Jenkins. The dish to the corner. And that's a short jump shot there. But it's knocked down by Carter Brown. And now it's Narula. He'll be guarded by number 16, J.J. Ikaroda. And a bit of a disjointed possession, but Della Foresta will get downhill, attacking, finishing with the right hand over top of J.J. Ikaroda. A nice finish there by Della Foresta, who's having himself a pretty solid game on the offensive side.
And the defensive side, I think one of those plays towards the end of the third quarter, you mentioned De La Foresta not coming down with a rebound, but I think he had a block on that play, and only a couple plays before met someone at the rim, even though the layup went home. I think it was either the first or second quarter where he had two great defensive plays in a matter of 10 or 15 seconds. Unfortunately, giving the ball away both those times. But yeah, usually known for his three-point shooting, has shown great defensive prowess and even getting downhill now to the rim, which is great for Jeremiah here in this fourth quarter.
You look at this lineup, Jeremiah and his brother Gabe here with three first-year players, guys who've been around this system, know it well. A real chance for some leadership among those two guys who are fan favorites here at Redeemer, no question. And so it'll be Ona and Caleb Connors in the backcourt. The De La Foresta twins on either side of the flanks, and then Narula taking up his spot in the middle of the court. Here comes Gabe De La Foresta. He'll drive. He was held on the drive by Omaforma, and so Gabe picks up the foul there, and it'll be a baseline out of bounds, a chance to run a bit of a set piece. We'll see what the call is here, but before that, we're going to see a three-man switch.
Unfortunately, some of that De La Foresta mentorship will have to wait for a couple of those guys, but we get Barbosa, King Stewart, and Parker Davis back into the game here.
So Redeemer coming out with a box set here on the inbound. The pass will go to Ona on the corner. He'll be dribbling against Iverson Chong, and that obviously did not go to plan. That's a turnover. Brown coming up with the steal. And now Jenkins will look for a screen. It'll come there from Ikaroda, and it'll be a foul. It's going to be called on J.J. Ikaroda, the illegal screen, a moving screen. And it's either the screen came too late or the ball handler left too early, right? And as a point guard in that situation, if you don't put your big in a position to succeed, he's going to be the one to pick up the foul, even though he did his job. There's a nice entry pass from Ona, and it's finished by Davis. And so Redeemer keeping their foot on the gas here. Ikaroda on the inside, trying to go up for two. Can't get it to go. Tussle for the rebound underneath. And a foul is called. And sorry, it was Omaforma going up the first time. J.J. Ikaroda coming up with the offensive board, and he will draw the foul. So 2 shots for J.J. Ikaroda, the first year at a Thornlea Prep in Mississauga. He's another one of those recruits that Coach Gerald Lametta speaks very highly of, bringing in similar to the complexion of Redeemer's lineup, a good mix of young guys, old, experienced players rather. And Ikaroda getting a chance there. He cannot convert the first free throw. One more to come.
Now, as we speak, Mohawk has totaled the amount of points they scored in this fixture last season at the Redeemer Athletic Center, but Redeemer, unfortunately, 23 points off of their mark at this moment. A little bit of a different in that fixture to this one, but a great take there from Tomás Barbosa.
And the help side not really being as effective as it was in that first quarter, second quarter for Coach Girolamo right now, and that might be something that Marco Dosen is going to come back in to try and rectify. Meanwhile, Carter Brown getting his own rebound. Scott Jenkins finds the fading big, who will dish it right back up to Iverson Chong. 7 to shoot. Screen coming from Ikaroda. The roll. Double teamed. Iverson Chong will dish it back inside. Can't find a man, and it will be a shot clock violation. Iverson Chong with a bit of a circus shot there, but it was well after the buzzer had gone. So a solid defensive possession there by Redeemer. Clogging the lanes, hitting their marks. And they'll earn themselves a fresh 24.
And as you mentioned, Will, we see now Marco Dosen coming back into the game to try and help defense. We got a turnover now for Redeemer. This is Jenkins now, throws a pass to the corner. It's off a fingertip and out of bounds. This will be Redeemer ball.
So a bit of a positive turn of events there for Redeemer, as you mentioned, forcing Mohawk into a change, and now it's going to be a timeout called by Mohawk. Coach Adam Chaluka there, also one of the former members of the Redeemer staff, going back 2 to 3 years. He'll be situated speaking to the team.
Yeah. When you had mentioned Marco Dosen coming back into the game, I checked to see if he was in foul trouble, but really no one on this Mohawk squad having more than 2 fouls so far this game, so they've been playing some real good disciplined defense, and that's definitely a factor to their large lead.
And so with 7 minutes to go here, timeout by Mohawk. Redeemer Royals basketball would like to thank Wes Shilstra of Remax Escarpment Realty, the official sponsor of our Final Score updates this season. Wes is passionate about helping families find their place to call home. So whether you're buying or selling, trust experience and integrity. Trust Wes Shilstra, Remax Escarpment Realty. Thank you, Wes, for your ongoing support of Redeemer Royals athletics. As Elijah Ona will inbound the ball to Tomas Barbosa, who's had a pretty efficient day from the field. He'll look for an up screen, trying to find Della Foresta. Narula going the other way. The dish from Ona. Thought he had Narula on a roll after setting that initial screen. Narula thought otherwise and was going out to maybe space out for an open three. Either way, it's a turnover. And now Jenkins will come off the screen. He'll step back, skip it across to Iverson Chong. No good on the three. And so Barbosa in transition. Skip pass to Davis. Davis. Nothing on that one. And it'll be a turnover once again.
Tomas Barbosa, you mentioned having a very efficient game, but I don't believe he's had a field goal attempt since the start of this second half, as another three-pointer goes down there for the Mountaineers.
Omaforma coming alive, showing his range, knocks down a triple, and now Redeemer the other way. Narula going with the left hand. Maybe made a little too much out of that as necessary, but either way, it's a bucket for him.
Yeah, usually you like to pass up a good shot for a great shot, but it looked like Narula passed up a great shot for a good shot there.
Yeah.
Still made it, so no complaints, but definitely maybe didn't have to do as much as he did.
When you got a guy like Marco Dosen, though, tracking you down as an undersized forward, the tendency is always going to be to take more time than you need. But, you know, Narula still, he's going to learn those things, right? To go up quickly, put that up quickly, he's always going to give you the best chance. But able to show a little bit of his footwork and his abilities there. Gets, I think it's his first points of the game. Meanwhile, Mohawk's going to send a man all the way across court on the inbound. Dante Richards with some good patience inside. Feeds Jerry Mercury, who puts in two more. And so that's Adamas Mackay now guarding Barbosa, who will feed it up top. Guarded by Malajian. My mistake. At the top of the key, we got a foul. That's going to be on Dante Richards. And Coach Hopkins getting a little bit heated over on the far side. I'm not exactly sure what that passionate explanation was directed towards, but either way, Redeemer will have a side out of bounds here. They're going to send Della Foresta across the court towards the inbounder on the corner. Della Foresta now setting a screen. Driving is Barbosa, going to go for the up and under against Malajian. And he'll draw the foul. So another set piece opportunity. It looks like Redeemer's really trying to create open shots for Della Foresta. Barbosa, though, is showing some good composure. He's attacking the rim. That's something you want to see from him. And now he'll get a chance from the line. And Redeemer's success from the line has not been quite that of Mohawk, but Barbosa able to convert there, and now we're seeing some pressure. It's going to be Kazim Raz is going to have to come back to get that one on the inbound. And now it's Richards guarded by Caleb Connors. A hesitation dribble, in and out, going towards his right hand, trying to find Kazim Raza on the far side. Skip pass, went through the hands of Della Foresta, and then off the hands of its intended target, out of bounds. So 5 minutes to go. Mohawk leads by 31 points here. Still a good crowd on hand. Redeemer trying to put together some positive offensive production. Barbosa driving with his left hand. He will take that with conviction, and it's going to be a charge. Looked like it was Dante Richards, got in place, set his feet in the help side position, something that Mohawk has been struggling with in the second half. And that time it's done to perfection. Jerry Mercury, guarding his defender directly into that help. And it's the second charge of the game drawn by Richards. And it's going to be traveling. That's called on Amatis Mackay. And so Redeemer, another chance to show that sideline out of bounds play. They'll send Ona on a screen from the top. The pass looking for Narula. He does keep it. The inside look for Steven Zhu. Get it right back out to Ona. So a good lineup of first years here for Redeemer with Jeremiah Della Foresta. Ona, good footwork, keeps his pivot alive, up and under, finishes, plus the harm. Elijah Ona. A nice looking, clever, technical finish, and he'll get a chance for one more.
Fantastic step through. Really good composure there from Ona. Yeah, we've seen him make a lot of good plays down the stretch, and like I mentioned earlier with Oswalmo attacking the basket, you want guys who can make cool level-headed plays, and that's exactly what that was. Keeping his pivot alive and using it to evade the defense and get a really easy layup, but also an and one.
Ona unable to convert on the three-point play opportunity, but nevertheless showing a lot of good signs here that he'll be an impact player this year. Meanwhile,
wow.
A nice leave there from Dante Richards for Milos Malajian, who stuffs it for two. And now Connors finds Steven Zhu, who will make the skip pass across to Ona, driving on the left-hand side. He'll leave it for Connors. Connors against Jalen Jackson driving. He'll skip that all the way across Della Foresta for three, and that is short. But Redeemer will keep the ball alive here on the offensive glass with Elijah Ona swooping in to get it. The skip pass, looking inside. Patience underneath from Narula. He will fade for two. Blocked there by Malajian. Three bodies in guarding that shot attempt. And now Della Foresta, who collected the steal, will turn it over. And Mohawk will come the other way. Dante Richards, or sorry, that's Amatis Mackay puts it in for his first points of the game. And now 3.5 to go. Mohawk trying to maintain their defensive presence in the half court. No one underneath the guard for Elijah Ona, who made a great backdoor cut. Connors was able to locate him, and Ona puts in two more as he's flirting with double digits on the game. Meanwhile, Della Foresta, I think, stole that inbounds pass, couldn't convert. And Mohawk will come the other way. Malajian driving, finishing with the offhand over top of Caleb Connors. Very little that Caleb could do there. Malajian had a head of steam and was able to lay it in right over top. Pass to the top of the arc for Narula will drive, and he got past his man, Malajian, and now we got a technical foul, I believe. What do we got going on here? A little bit of extracurriculars as this game draws near a close. Coach Hopkins not happy to see his team acting out emotionally there. We'll see what comes of this.
I think maybe a little bit of a pile head formed on Jack Narula as he hit the deck as two defenders kind of crashed into him on that layup. Maybe just a little bit of frustration getting out there, but yeah, not what you want late in the game.
And so either way, it is going to be a shooting foul as Narula drew the help. The help came late. Narula was able to create the contact. So he'll go to the line for the first time. And meanwhile, we'll see Elton Adam come back in for Mohawk in addition to Danielson Stewart. And I think it's first going to be it was an unsporting foul or a technical foul. Unsporting foul. Narula will be the one to shoot it. And we'll get some confirmation here from our official to confirm that yes, it was Narula who was fouled in the act, so he'll get a shot with no lineup here. And he will get the shooter's bounce. Narula showed a lot of grit in this game, put into a position certainly of discomfort. One of the teams that's got more size across the OCAA, and as an undersized team, Redeemer certainly is going to need all they can get from some of their grittier, especially first-year guys who can show a little bit of that in these early stages, and he's done well, and he knocks down his first two free throws. He'll have one more to come. Certainly not a position that Jack Narula has been native to playing throughout his high school days, but getting thrust into that spot here in his first collegiate regular season action. And now, that's going to be a bucket and one. That is Danielson Stewart going all the way down from the left-hand side, 45, attacking the right hand, and he'll finish plus the foul.
And we talk about Jack Narula going up against size, but not only does this team have size, but they have some real good pedigree. Last season in this playoffs, in the quarterfinals, they were taken down by the eventual OCAA champion, the Durham Lords, and they took him to an 11-point loss. So this team is right up there with the best in the OCAA, and Redeemer's definitely given Mohawk something to worry about.
That quarterfinal proving to be a bit of a roadblock for Mohawk in the past 2 seasons. Of course, they lost to George Brown the following year, as a nice bucket there from Barbosa. He'll go to the line for one more. And over those last 2 seasons, the first of which, Mohawk was one of the perennial contenders. Started their season 5-0 before coming here to Redeemer, where they dropped their first game of the year. Went on to lose to George Brown in the OCAA quarterfinals, and of course last year, to your point, Jared, Durham, who's had a couple of good seasons, including OCAA championship last year. So certainly some things for Mohawk that they'll want to build on. You know, unquestionably, Coach Jamie's going to have a lot that he wasn't happy about today, but also some things that are encouraging that they'll look to build upon, as they've now reached over the century mark here with 2 minutes to go in this game. That was a electric block there by Elton Adam. Pinned that up against the glass, and now he'll have a chance to go one-on-one against Stephen Jew. The hezzy dribble, leaves it up top for Stewart. Stewart will pull the 3, and he knocks it down. A tough shot contested off the dribble, knocks down the triple. So now Connors will drive. He will skip this across. Jew thought about the 3, didn't take it. He'll retreat, dribble back out. A Swomo against Stewart. The skip pass, intercepted. Mohawk with a 2-on-1 the other way. Adam will keep it himself, and he lays it in. Mohawk's next contest will be at home. Again, this game technically an away game. Mohawk not having to travel far, of course, but they'll be back at their home court for their game against Niagara next Saturday, as Barbosa knocks down another triple. Mohawk will start this season 1-0, as they did last year. Redeemer will drop their home opener, as they did last year as well, to St. Clair. And a couple things that Redeemer will be able to build upon for sure. Some encouraging performances from their first-year guys, but also some things they're going to need to get better at.
And as we enter the last minute of tonight's game, we'd like to thank another one of our sponsors, Finn Pools, a proud sponsor of your Royals and the Make a Splash move of the game. For over 25 years, Finn Pools has been transforming backyards with custom designs, expert installations, and trusted maintenance, delivering top-quality products they stand behind. From concept to completion, they believe kindness matters and every project deserves excellence. Visit finpools.ca to learn more or to start your next pool project today. That's FINNPOOLS.ca. Thank you to Finn Pools for supporting the Redeemer Royals.
And so Barbosa goes 2 for 2. An encouraging game from him, very efficient, and he knocks down those 2 free throws. And so 1, maybe 2 more possessions here for Mohawk. We'll see if they can create an opportunity. That's a nice looking shot there from Brown. He knocks it down. And now here comes Barbosa with the left hand, going up against the towering presence of Oriforma. And it will be Elton Adam going to the line here.
Don't know if it was deemed that Oswomo didn't have his feet set, or maybe he was just inside the restricted area. Yeah, maybe.
Either way, it's tough to take that charge in transition every single time. I mean, it's definitely an opportunity to create a big play defensively, and I think they actually did call it a charge there. So
look at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Successfully did get his feet set and outside of the area. And so here now, one more chance for Redeemer to put together a bit of a horns action there. They've got Narula, hands it off. Connors with an aggressive drive, trying to go up with the right hand. Looks like Carter Brown had a hand on it as Connors tried to finish. So Redeemer will have 9 seconds on the shot clock, 1 second differential here in the fourth quarter to try and run a good baseline out of bounds. Down screen set by Narula. He'll space back out, catch on the seal. Aswomo coming out for it. Narula will leave it off Barbosa. Trying to get a shot off here. He will put it up. He cannot get it to go. And that will do it here in the season opener. The final score, Mohawk 117, Redeemer 81. As Mohawk moves to 1-0, Redeemer drops their first of the game. Tonight's leading scorers, Jerry Mercury and Marco Dosen with a good 1-2 punch, the former with 22 points. The latter leads all scorers with 25. For Redeemer, Thomas Barbosa with a solid game, 20 points on the game, 7 to 15 from the field, also with 4 rebounds and 4 assists.
And if you like what you saw from this Redeemer Royals team, unfortunately they're on the road for their next 2 games, but we'll be back at home on November 4th against the Conestoga Condors with a 2-game homestand, playing the Humber Hawks the following week. And if you liked what you saw from these 2 teams going at each other, we have the return fixture coming to you at Mohawk campus, also in Hamilton. That's Saturday, January 10th at 3 o'clock. We'll get to see these 2 teams battle it out again.
Certainly a lot of excitement around Redeemer Athletics right now. Our women's soccer team's got their playoff quarterfinal against Seneca coming up next week. So if you're in the Southern Ontario region, we hope that you'll maybe think about making your way out for that game, as well as men's volleyball and women's volleyball also getting going. So great to be back in the swing of things, Jared. Always a pleasure to join you up here in the booth, and we'll hope to see you soon for our next little bit of action here at the Redeemer Athletic Center. So from all of us here at Redeemer, myself, Jared Meyer, here in the booth, from all the staff that putting on the game, we'll see you next time. We thank you for joining us, and have a great day. Wow, 65 peak